Hey guys, this is Shannon with Nearly Organic Noshing, and on another video I am working on blackberry preserves right now. This seems to be one of those days that is going to be a hurry up and wait day. The blackberry preserves needed 2 hours to sit with the sugar mixture, so those are sitting, and I'm going to go ahead and start making pickles, which the pickles are going to have to sit with salt for a little while also. But I'm going to just go and run and do other things and work on the preserves in a little while the pickles are sitting in their salt mixture. So to begin with, these are just some of the pickles I've pulled out of the garden so far. And I'm going to kind of combine two different recipes because I do not have enough for one recipe and then I don't like all aspects of another recipe. So I'm just going to kind of put two together and just make it work for the amount that I have here. So I've already washed these off, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut the ends off, slice them up, and I'm going to start putting them in a jar, and I'm going to start layering pickle salt, pickling salt, canning salt on top in between layers to go ahead and start taking some of the excess moisture out of the cucumbers, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to take the ends off, and I like some decent, like hearty sized pieces. So these are going to be some decent sized chunks that are going to go in here. And then I'm just going to sprinkle them in the bottom. And I'll end up putting more than this, but just so that you guys can see what I'm going to do. And this is just canning and pickling salt. I'm just going to sprinkle some over the cucumbers, and I'm going to keep layering like that until I have all of my cucumbers cut. Okay, I've sliced up all of my cucumbers and I have them here, and they are covered in just a good layer of the pickling salt. I have just a basic pickling mix here, and I have a 1/3 cup of it here, and I'm just going to tie it up in cheesecloth, and that is going to go in my pot. And then I'll add everything else in there. And I'm not going to bring it to a boil yet. I'm just going to go ahead and mix it in so that I can clear my island for something else that I'm working on. So here is my pickling mixture. And that is going to go in the pot. And I'm going to add to that 6 cups of this is just plain white vinegar. And add that in. 3/4 cup canning salt. Add that. 2 1/4 cups water. And then I have over to the side, I have peeled garlic. There's going to go 1 to 2 cloves in each jar, just depending on how big of the jar it is. Then I have some dill here that I have washed, and it's just draining on a paper towel, and that's going to go into each jar. And then this is just a mixture that I'm going to sprinkle into the jar of dill seeds, mustard seeds, and some celery seed. And this is just going to go in each jar in the bottom as I put the cucumbers in. I'm just going to layer it in. So I have all that set to the side, and while these are having the water taken out of them with the salt, I'm going to move on to something else and let this sit for a little while. Okay, I've had my cucumbers sitting for a few hours now. I don't know if you can see that. There is quite a bit of liquid in the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour them into a colander, and then I'm going to rinse them with cool water for a few minutes to get all of the salt that's on them off. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump them into here. And drain that off and put them in the sink and start rinsing them with cool water. Okay, I have my sterilized jars here that just came out of the canner. I have my rinsed pickles. I have my seasoning mix, have my garlic, some dill, fresh dill that's rinsed and looking very pitiful now, to put in each jar, and then I have my brine solution here. So first I'm going to go ahead and put a chunk of garlic in each jar. And again, I guessed on how many jars I'm going to need here. Actually, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to need this many, but we'll just have to see. And then I'm going to put a sprinkle in each one. Okay, so that is in there. And then a sprig of dill in each one. Okay, we'll do that and then we'll stuff the cucumbers in. And once I get all of these filled up, I'll come back. My brine solution here, and I was right, I only needed 4 jars. So what I'm gonna do is, since I already put this in here, I'm just gonna use a little bit of the brine to rinse it out, and I'm gonna add it into these because it calls for more garlic and more seasoning to the top of each jar. So that's just what I'm gonna do to go ahead and use that up. As soon as I find this. So I'm just gonna knock that loose and then pour it into the top of another jar. And I'll come back when I have all of these filled. Okay, I have the jars filled, and this is just a wooden toothpick, and I'm just gonna sit there and run the wooden toothpick all around the edges to not lose any air bubbles, and let them come to the surface, and then make sure I smush down the pickles so that there's enough brine that covers all of the pickles completely and still leaves enough headspace. So I'm gonna do this for all my jars, then I'm gonna clean the tops, put the lids on, and then process for 15 minutes. Just had the timer go off on my pickles. I went and took the lid off, and tell me if any of you guys have ever had this happen. I've never had this happen before, but I looked in and one of my jars was floating, and I looked at it and I couldn't see quite what was going on with it. Trying to get to it here. And the entire bottom just snapped. Looks like it's cut all the way across. I've never had a jar do this before. And so this whole thing of pickles is toast. It looks like these 3 are okay, but this one just sheared off at the bottom. So I'm not quite sure what went wrong or what happened, but well, we have 3 complete jars of pickles, and we'll see how these guys turn out. Okay, hope you guys are having a great afternoon and hope this video helped, and I'll talk to y'all later.